So, you've got a service business. You're probably constantly bombarded with the latest hacks and tricks for growth. But what if the real secret, the key to a business that actually lasts, isn't a trick at all? What if it's something way simpler, something foundational? That's what we're digging into right here.
And, this whole idea we're about to unpack, it literally started with this quote. Yeah, this isn't something out of a textbook. This is a story that started happening just a couple of weeks ago, all because of a completely random meeting. So picture this. It all started with two guys who were, for all intents and purposes, direct competitors. I mean, they're in the same industry, same city, but they'd never actually met. Until one day, they did.
Okay, so let's meet the two guys at the heart of this. On one hand, you've got Casey Walsh. He literally started his company, Stand Up Guys, 18 years ago with just a pickup and a trailer. Today, it's a business doing over $10 million a year across 6 states. Then you have Justin Hubbard. He jumped in back in 2014 with absolutely nothing and built a $2 million a year operation that he now runs completely remotely. So yeah, two very different roads to some serious success.
And get this, the place they finally meet? It wasn't some stuffy conference or a networking event. Nope, it was a kid's jiu-jitsu class. Justin spots another dad wearing a hoodie with the Stand Up Guys logo on it, and it clicks. Wait a minute, that's Casey Walsh.
And that's all it took. That one, hey, I know your company, just spiraled. Turns out they live in the same neighborhood, they both like cigars, so that leads to this epic 2-hour conversation about business. And they both realized, man, this stuff is too good not to share. And boom, just like that, a podcast was born.
And as they started talking, they zeroed in on this huge problem they both see all the time. Because once they started talking to other folks in their industry, they noticed this really frustrating pattern in the kinds of questions they were always getting asked.
The questions always sounded just like this. People weren't asking about how to build a good business. They were desperately looking for a shortcut. That one silver bullet, that magic trick that's going to solve everything overnight.
And here's the honest truth, the part nobody wants to hear but everyone needs to. There is no silver bullet. There isn't one. This endless hunt for hacks and shortcuts, it's just a distraction. The real key to a business that actually lasts, it's all about the foundation. So, what is this big secret? What's the foundation? Well, it comes down to this incredibly simple but powerful idea they call be the guy.
All right, so what does that even mean, be the guy? It's not about being the cheapest. It's not about having the flashiest marketing. It's a deep, gut-level commitment to being the absolute most reliable, most trustworthy, and most professional person in your entire market, period.
In the real world, it's about nailing the basics, the stuff everyone else messes up. You're the guy that actually shows up when you say you will. You're the guy that answers the phone. When a mistake happens, you're the guy that owns it and fixes it. No questions asked. You're the one people feel 100% safe referring to their own mom or their best friend.
Okay, so that sounds nice, right? But does it actually, make you money? Let's get into the first piece of proof. This is a story that shows the insane compounding effect of this whole philosophy.
The story starts with this number right here. $35. A tiny, what seems like a totally insignificant job way back in the early days of Casey's business. So that $35, that was for hauling away an old grill for a woman named Ruth. A tiny job. But Casey showed up, he was professional, he did a great job, he was the guy. And that one little job turned into a referral to her neighbor, which led to another neighbor. Then the whole homeowners association got involved. Now, 16 years later, that one single $35 job is the reason that zip code is one of his company's most profitable areas.
And this is the big mindset shift right here. You have to stop looking at a customer as just one job. Every single lead, every single interaction is a chance for a 5-star review, a referral, a repeat call. It's your reputation builder. It's all about squeezing every last drop of value out of the customers you already have instead of just endlessly chasing new ones.
Okay, so that's the customer side of things. But what about you, the owner? How do you scale this thing without going completely insane? Well, that brings us to the second piece of proof, the secret to actually growing without burning yourself out.
Every founder hits a wall. And for Casey, this was it. He paints this picture. He's driving his old beat-up 87 Chevy, no AC, sweating through his shirt. His phone is just blowing up with angry customers because he's late for the next job, and then the truck just runs out of gas. That was his rock bottom. Total burnout.
And sitting there completely defeated, he asked himself that one question that every single person in his shoes asks eventually. What am I even doing? Is all this chaos? Is this really winning?
And this is the light bulb moment. You always hear this advice, right? You got to get off the truck. You have to replace yourself. But he realized, no, that's not the first step. It's too big, too scary. He just needed to move from the driver's seat to the passenger seat. See? This simple shift makes the whole idea of scaling feel so much less overwhelming. You don't have to replace your entire self in one giant leap. You just do it one role at a time. First, just let someone else drive the truck while you take calls from the passenger seat. Then, you teach them how to quote jobs. You just step back, piece by piece, empowering your people and buying back your own sanity.
And what's really cool is that when you build a business this way, on this kind of foundation, it's not just about the how. It completely changes the why. Your whole idea of what success even is begins to evolve. Look, when you're just starting out, maybe you're 25, success is just, can I pay my rent? Can I pay my bills? Then it becomes about getting some free time. But as you build something that lasts, it gets deeper. Success becomes about providing for your family. It becomes about creating stability for your whole team. And then it becomes about the incredible feeling of watching the people you hired grow into leaders themselves.
It all comes down to this one incredible saying they shared. Revenue is vanity. Profit is sanity. Time is freedom. Chasing giant revenue numbers just to brag is an empty game. Real success is found in solid profits, because that brings sanity and stability. And that, ultimately, lets you buy back your time, which is the only true freedom there is.
So, after all that, it really just boils down to one question you have to ask yourself. Just be honest. When you look at your business, at how you spend your days, are you stuck on that hamster wheel, just chasing the next quick fix? Or are you patiently, day after day, laying the bricks for a foundation that's actually going to last? The choice, as they say, is yours.